Okay, starting where we left off, let's hit Command 0 to get back to full screen. Then we don't need these shapes anymore because we have the pattern saved as a swatch. So I'm going to hit Command A. I'm going to hit delete so that our patterns are now blank, our patterns layer. But you notice the swatch is still up there on the right. Okay. So now I'm going to take the ellipse tool and we're going to make one that goes off the edge. It's not perfectly symmetrical, to show you how masking works so you can get a little more creative with your patterns. So I'm going to make a circle. Actually, let me Command minus 1, 2, 3, something like that a few times. And I'm going to come out here around this intersect. I'm going to hold Shift and Option. I'm going to drag out a circle. I'm going to switch to fill. So I just switched like that. You can also hit, if you roll over it, you can see Shift X is a shortcut. So if you hit Shift X, you can switch between fill and stroke. So I want a stroke and I want it pretty thick. Let's try 10 points, all right? 10 point stroke. Then I'm going to option drag. Let's see, put something there. I'm going to hold Shift and Option, make that a little bit smaller. So it's just about creating some visual interest. I'm going to make that one smaller. And I'm going to option drag another one down here. And I'm going to hold Shift and Option, expand that out, make that maybe big. And to make this a little bit easier, this one is going to be a repeating pattern on the top. So we want to hang it off the bottom, but not off the right. And I should fix this one too, just to make it easier. So I'm going to make it hang off. Oops. So I'm going to drag it down so it's hanging off to the left, but not to the top. So only hang off one side just to make things easier. And then let's just kind of, move this guy around. Add a couple other ones in just for visual interest. Again, what happens in the middle doesn't really matter. I'm just kind of randomly doing stuff to see what kind of trippy pattern we can make. You don't have to exactly follow me. Just kind of a concept of, I could do a bunch of cool, weird stuff. Let's see, I'll make this one a little bit bigger. Maybe make some a little bit smaller, just so we have a little variety. All right, so what we need to do now is make a copy of this so that it goes exactly over here in the right spot. So I'm going to go up to Object and Transform. We want to move a copy to the right side. So I'm going to hit Move. And we can kind of move this out of the way just to see. You always want to have preview checked to see what's going on. And our artboard that we created was 400 pixels. So I'm going to hit 400 pixels and tab. Right? Horizontal from left to right. And then I'm going to make a copy. Now you can see that that space right there is the same as that space right there, which is what we want. Then I don't want this guy to overlap with that, so I'm going to move him over here, kind of in the center a little bit more. Okay. Now let's right click, and you can also get transform from here, and we can move. And then we don't want to move the horizontal at all. And we want the vertical to be minus 400, which is to move up, and hit tab and click copy. All right. And I don't want any overlap, so I'm going to move that in there, kind of nudge it just so it's a nice circle. And then that guy is off because I messed something up, and I'll show you what I did wrong. So I'm going to click on it again, and we can do Object, Transform, Move, and we got to make sure that vertical is 0, and then horizontal 400, make a copy. All right. Now, we need to cut off the outside edges. And we're going to do that with the mask. So click on your mask layer. Come over to the rectangle tool and Shift X to switch your fill to black or whatever color you want. And our artboard is 400 pixels by 400 pixels. So I'm just going to click and make sure that my rectangle is 400 by 400 and click OK. Now I want to align it to the artboard, so I have some align tools right here. I want to click on this down arrow to make sure it says align to artboard, not selection, align to artboard. And then horizontal align center and vertical align center. So it's perfectly on our artboard. We are going to hide it for a moment and do a step that I forgot. Strokes aren't really going to work. We want to convert those into fill. So I have my mask hidden, so I didn't select it. I'm on my patterns layer. I've selected everything, all these patterns, strokes that we created. We want to turn these strokes into fills. So we're going to go up to Object, and you're either going to see Expand or Expand Appearance. It just depends on how they were drawn. Both work fine. And hit Expand. You may or may not see this dialog box. All you need to do is click OK, and you will see that now everything selected is no longer a stroke, it's a fill, and that's what we want. And then we're going to turn our mask on. Then we're going to do Command A to select everything, or Command All, A for all. And down here at the bottom of the layers panel, kind of in the middle, make or release clipping mask. We're going to click on that, okay? And oop, didn't do what we wanted, so let me undo. Let's not make that black. Let's see if that makes a difference. Let's make it a gray. And then I'm going to shift click on this little target right here so that everything's selected. Now I'm going to come down, make and release clipping mask. There we go. Just couldn't be the same color. Next, we want to cut off these edges. So we do that with the Pathfinder tool. Over here, if you set yours up to follow along with me, there is Pathfinder. If not, you can come under Window, and they're alphabetical order, and you can click on Pathfinder. And we are looking for this option called Crop, and it's going to crop off the edges. Now we're going to select all of our stuff, come up to Object, Pattern, Make. And then I'm going to Command V to paste in there because I copied in the last tutorial Zentangle Pattern 1. Then I can simply change it to Zentangle Pattern 2 and click Done. Oops, click Done. You can see there's a pattern up here. I'm going to double click to open it up. Command minus just to show you that. Yes, now we have a repeating pattern. Next tutorial, I'll show you one more kind of cool trick, and then it's all about you to experiment. You don't want to follow these steps I did. I just like the patterns I did, but you want to follow the steps. You want to do your own creative stuff. So I'm just going to show you different ideas, then let you explore. So next tutorial, after I click done here, we'll have some different ideas.